Today's Open Source Thursday session, we're going to be talking about open source for space enthusiasts. If you've been here before, you know who I am, but if you've never been to one of these sessions, my name is Husseinat Etti-Balogun and I'm a beta Microsoft Learn student ambassador. There's a whole bunch of information here, but all you need to know is that I'm really passionate about space and open source advocacy. In today's session, we're going to be talking about open source in the space sector, projects that you can contribute to as a space enthusiast, and getting stuck in open source. Now, open source space systems have the potential to change paradigms about how space missions should be implemented and reduce barriers to access space technologies. If I want to break it down, I'll just say that open source space systems are basically the future. They are about helping us reduce the gap between all these big space technologies and the average enthusiast, the average person that would want to be interested in contributing or even using them. Lowering costs, lowering access, that's basically the way of open source within the space sector. Now, the solutions that are being developed are taking a critical role in the burgeoning new space economy. From NASA's Ingenuity helicopter, which recently flew on the surface of Mars, to the lunar rover Viper, expected to launch in November 2024. Open source hardware, software, and data is going to help lower the barrier of entry and make space more accessible to a broader range of people. So why should space be open source? Now, the efforts made by open source initiatives are contributing to the advancement of the human species, right? By increasing our interest in space, we're creating opportunities to upgrade our civilization's technological level, moving further up the Kardashev scale and possibly becoming a multi-planetary species, which is something I am very, very excited about. And if you don't know what the Kardashev scale is, it's basically a scale on created by, I think it was a Russian, or a Polish man, I can't remember right now, but his surname was Kardashev, that's why it's named after him. And he created this scale that basically ranked civilizations based on the energy they could consume and use. So basically there were 3 levels. The first one is like a level 1, where you can harness all the energy within your planet as a whole and use it efficiently. Then the second scale was being able to use all the energy in your solar system and being able to use it efficiently. That's like using a Dyson sphere to harness the energy of the sun. That's an example of that. And then the third one, the last one that he created was using the energy of the whole galaxy. Like your civilization should be able to use the energy of the whole galaxy efficiently for, productive things. He didn't create one bigger than the galaxy because he didn't think that was possible. Now, open source fuels some of humankind's greatest or grandest projects. An example is how NASA has made the Mars Curiosity rover open source. So everything about the rover, including the software and the hardware, is now open source. You can check it on the website so that other people can experiment and try new things and even bring new innovations to the surface. So here are some projects that you can contribute to as a space enthusiast that I've managed to. There's a whole lot more than these, but these are the ones that are that I was able to just culminate. So we have the two main big projects are the LibreSpace Foundation and then the open source project. So within the LibreSpace Foundation, we actually have other projects like this. UpSat, we have LibreCube is also connected to the LibreSpace Foundation. We have other all these smaller ones. You'll find some of them under the LibreSpace Foundation they're being helped, but the LibreSpace Foundation is also contributing towards these other foundations, to these other projects. And then there's a range of them. So we have AstroPy and PolyAstro. These are libraries using Python for calculating and visualizing astronomical data. or like orbital missions, stuff like that. Then we have more like GIS related ones like OpenStreetMap. We have astronomy related like Open Astronomy. Open Galactic is its own separate thing. We also have Space ROS, which is a robotics operating system that basically helps standardize robotics within the space sector, basically. So I'm going to just briefly go through 4 of the ones I've talked about that you just saw previously. So this first picture in the upper left-hand corner that you'll see here is code.nasa.gov, and it's a catalog of open source NASA code that has received Software Release Authority approval. This just means that this is all of these libraries of code that has been listed on this website. They are code written by NASA engineers and approved by NASA to be shared for wider use by society. So the one next to it here is the LibreSpace Foundation, and the goal of LibreSpace Foundation is to promote, advance, and develop Libre or free and open source technologies and knowledge for space. So to do that, they design, develop, and deliver space-related projects ranging from ground station equipment to global monitoring networks and satellite missions. The next one here underneath NASA code is Space ROS that I was mentioning before, and it's a reusable software framework based on the robotics operating system 2 for robotics and autonomous space systems. Space ROS modifies ROS 2 with the intent of aligning its software to aerospace mission and safety assurance standards. The very last one here is OpenStreetMaps, and it's more GIS related. It's more rooted in using space software for Earth applications. All of these ones, they're aiming to use space software like outside in space, but OpenStreetMaps is very much like within Earth, mapping out different types of things on Earth. So OpenStreetMaps is built by a community of mappers that contribute and maintain data about roads, trails, cafes, railway stations, and much more all over the world. So Youth Mappers is a great organization to join as a university student to capitalize on the web-based open geospatial technologies. Youth Mappers also allows you to network with other universities around the globe to learn leadership and resilience through mapping. I only bring this up because there's also one in my university, a Youth Mappers chapter, and the people that are part of that really get to enjoy the benefits of mapping and using space software for Earth applications. So, getting stuck in open source. So no matter what field you're in, you're going to run into trouble and have nowhere to turn to, and it's an isolating feeling for everybody, right? So we may fall into the trap of self-degradation. We're like, oh, I can't do this because I'm so stupid. That's not what you should do at all. That never solves anything. Now, there's this saying that curiosity killed the cat, but most people don't actually know that that saying is not the complete version, because the ending of that saying is satisfaction brought it back. So you should always be ready to go to the end of the earth for whatever it is you're interested in. Now, all space enthusiasts have one thing in common, and that is curiosity. When it comes to curiosity, failure is part and parcel of the process. You're going to be curious about something, you're going to get yourself injured, you're going to run into a bit of trouble, but that's the fun of being an adventurer, being an engineer, being somebody who's interested in things outside of the norms that they see. And that's perfectly okay, right? Failure is perfectly okay. So reaching out to community members and more experienced contributors on discussion forums, emails, and chat spaces should be the primary thing that you do. After you go through it and you've gone through it once, twice, 3 times, and you still don't understand, reach out to people that you know will help you, right? So when you reach out to these people, always remember that the community is not there specifically for answering everybody's questions. Like, everybody is busy and we're all volunteering within this open source realm, right? So you need to have patience when you're waiting for replies from people. That brings me on to my next slide. Now, there are right and wrong ways to ask questions. So when you're stuck, you want to reach out to somebody. You can reach out on Slack, on Element, whatever it is that you guys normally communicate with. But email is always something that's always handy that you can always use, right? So I'm going to use this email that I got from Apache, from the Notch network, as an example. Now, we have a bad email and we have a good email. Now, the bad email has a subject that says problem with crawling. Then the content is, I'm having a problem with crawling the internet. It just seems it's taking too long. Does anybody know why crawling is taking so long from me? Now, that subject line is not very informative. It doesn't tell me that wants to help you exactly what it is that is going on, right? And then even the content doesn't detail what it is that you're having trouble with. Now, let's go on to the good email. Subject says, crawl on 20K pages taking 4 hours. That's very specific, right? Now, I know, now that you've told me that you're skimming through, you're trying to scan through 20,000 pages, I know the bulk of the information that you're trying to get through. And you said it's taking 4 hours. I know how long it's taking you to do that. Another thing that you could also do is maybe put the expected time that you had in mind. Like, I was expecting it to do this, but this is what it's doing instead, right? So the content says, I'm using Notch 0.8 branch over a cluster of 3 machines, each running Red Hat Linux and Java 1.5.10 with 500 gig hard drives, 2.8 gigahertz processors, and 2 gigs of RAM. I'm trying to fetch 20K URLs, and the fetch process completes fine, but when it gets to the reduce process, the CPUs go to 100% and the process seems to spin indefinitely. I did a kill SGAC, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, on the process, and it seems to be stuck on the regex normalizer class. Has anyone experienced similar problems or know what might be causing this problem? This is apt. This is what is going to help somebody figure out how they can help you. They specified the kind of system that they're using, the power that they're using. They specified the version of the application of the software that they're using, and they said exactly what's going on, like step by step. As you start step 1, this is what happens. Step 2, this is what happens. And then this person also mentioned that this is what I've tried. So it's not that I haven't tried anything and I'm just asking for help. This is what I've tried and it also didn't work. So do you have any advice that you could give me? This is like the perfect email for when you're stuck and you're looking for solutions. This is how you should think about reaching out to people. Obviously, introduce yourself if you haven't introduced yourself before, if you're not really on talking terms. Hi, my name is this. I just started contributing to this organization, and I'm stuck on this and this. Here's what I've tried. Here's what I'm expecting, and I don't know what to do anymore. This is perfect. Now, help them help you. While you're waiting for a response after you've sent your amazing email or message or issue, while you're waiting for your response on the task that you're stuck on, take a break, relax, know that it's not a big deal if you don't understand something, and then try to help other people as well. Don't think that you need to be an expert to begin answering questions. If you think that you can help somebody else on the mailing list or the issue board or the forum, don't be afraid to do it. The more you help other people, the more likely other people will want to help you, because they'll see that, oh, this person is very active. And it seems that if this active person is always out to help everybody else, let me also try to figure out if I can help this person. So you might even find that when you come back after you've solved somebody else's issue, your issue might even be easier to solve. So that is all for this week's session. It's a little shorter than normal, but we've already been through last session. We've already been through how to look for how to look for open source projects related to your interests. And the session before that, we talked about how to contribute. So if you're stuck on that, you can always refer to the previous sessions that we've talked about. And I hope you guys enjoyed this and gained a lot from this session.